right, Webster, you're on.
Oh, hi, everybody. This is Webster Webfoot.
Yes, and I'm Uncle Jimmy Weldon saying welcome to the Webster Webfoot Show. Webster, can you imagine it's been 46 years since we did that the first time at WFAA in Dallas?
Well, I'm only 3.
That's right. You're 3.
I'm tough.
Oh, that's right. He's a real tough little goose.
I'm a duck.
All right, all right. You haven't changed 1 ounce in all these years, Webster.
I know, but you are old.
I can't believe it's been that long since I've had that little guy on my arm. Hello again. Thank you for letting me visit with you. You know, I tell salesmen all the time, it's not what you say to people that counts. It's what they believe of what you say that really counts. And I believe after we've had our visit together, you're going to say that old boy sure believes in what he's saying. Now, we have a studio audience here. They're going to sort of eavesdrop on us because I want to talk to you wherever you are. I don't care whether it's a conference room, a sales staff meeting, a college room, or where. Pretend we're sitting at home right now in your living room and I'm talking to you. I want to sell you on something, but first, as I was telling the studio audience in our briefing, what we call it, Toastmasters is the greatest organization I know of for communication skills. If you're not involved in this, please get in a Toastmasters, a Toastmistress group. They have them all the time. But their one agenda is to give communication skills one-on-one or with a group. And they say in Toastmasters, give a speech in 3 parts. Part 1 of the speech, tell them what you're going to tell them. Part 2, tell them. And part 3, tell them what you just got through telling them. I know it sounds dumb, but think about it. It's a fact. I'm going to do this with you. First of all, part 1, I'm going to tell you, you are the most important person on earth. You know more about yourself than all the other people in the world combined, and you're the only person you're never going to leave. I'm going to show you why this is a fact. If each of us could actually feel that way, then every person with whom we come in contact should feel the same way. I base my presentations wherever I am on 2 phrases you will never say to anyone, or will you ever hear anything that means more to you or them than these 2 things. Thank you, and I love you. This computer of ours longs for those 2 phrases more than anything on earth. Now listen, we're going to have a lot of fun, but I'm not going to give you some jazzed up things to make you think you can get out of bed every day going, get out of the way, gang, I'm coming in. That's dumb. No one is immune to sadness. Our moods change from day to day. Day to day. They change from minute to minute. Do you see this finger? It wasn't always this short. It used to be as long as this one. I want to tell you what happened. I pulled this finger off in my backyard. I'd borrowed my brother's lawnmower. It had an old gasoline motor on the top of it. And I saw the little pulley was slipping the belt over the top of it. And I thought to myself, that belt is slipping. Now, if I put my finger down there and lift up on this belt, I can probably learn how much tension's needed. I want you to know I learned instantly how much tension was needed. As soon as my finger went in that pulley, I went, wham! I pulled my finger off. That's right. I pulled it off in the backyard. I couldn't faint. I was alone. There was no audience. I was by myself. But as I sat there and looked at my finger, I thought of what my dad had been telling my 2 brothers and me all our lives, and that's this. Experience is the one thing a guy gets just after he no longer needs it. I'm never going to stick my hand in a belt and a pulley again. That's dumb. But it's one of nature's tricks, little understood, that each day I awaken with moods that have changed from yesterday. Yesterday's joy will become today's sadness. Yesterday's sadness will grow into tomorrow's joy. No, okay, let's get serious now. Have some fun. Have you ever gone in one's office and you say good morning and they say, what's good about it? And you want to think immediately, I don't know, I just thought I'd throw that out at you, dumb dodo. Listen, everybody wants to talk about something that's negative and bad. They'll promote anything. This is why I say don't tell people your problems. 80% couldn't care less. And the other 20% are glad because they found someone that's worse off than they are. All right, now let's get down to you. Why is it that any of us do what we do as a profession or a vocation? When I was 7 years old, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I grew up in a little town in Chickasha, Oklahoma. I knew at 7, one day I was coming to Hollywood and be in pictures, Yet I didn't even have any idea where the city limit signs were in Chickasha, much less Hollywood, California. I didn't care. I just knew what I was going to do. But that's something special. That's the difference. Get to that a little later if we have a chance. But in college, I asked college students, what are you going to do? I find many of them have no idea, and they're in college. One time I asked a guy, I heard him holler out, he said, Weldon, I don't care what I do when I graduate, I just want to make a lot of money. And I looked at him, I said, if that's what you want to do, go work in a mint, because the only people who make money work in a mint, or else they're counterfeiters. My dear friend, there's one word that's the most misunderstood word in the world. It's 7 letters, 7 small letters. I'm going to put them under Icoca. Here they are, S-U-C-C-E-S-S. Success is the most misunderstood word in our language. I said that, and I'm going to tell you why. You can go down the street in town, you won't find one person a month who can tell you what this means. They all got different ideas, but there's only one meaning. It's a daily progression toward worthwhile, predetermined goals, one after another. Anyone who is goal-directed is successful. If they're not successful. I'm not going to leave you hanging on anything. Please believe me. I'm going to spell out everything exactly what I'm saying to you and why. Now, success, there are 6 areas of our lives we have to deal with. They're like spokes on a wheel. We have a mental development, a physical development, a spiritual development. We're the only animal with that one. A social development, family, and financial. Every day we're developing these talents that our Creator gave us. We are successful, provided we're doing what we really want to do. Another way of knowing it is where we are now and where we want to go. Every day, Monday through Sunday, you're doing these development of talents, you are successful. But the most important thing, when you get over to this last point where the arrow is, you can become a bullfrog when you say, I got it made. Man, this is it. I don't care about life. And there are many. There could be some bullfrogs in our audience right now. We'll get to that. But think about this. Why did I say a bullfrog? Let me tell you this. Scientists take a bullfrog, just a frog. They'll drop him down in a Pyrex dish with 1.5 inches of hot water. When this frog hits the bottom of that water, his legs are strong, and the water's hot, and he comes out of there naturally. They catch him and empty the bowl and put cold water in here. It's not funny, really. They put the frog in, and he'll sit there and ribbit. He loves that. But they sit him on a little tiny Bunsen burner. As the water gets warmer and warmer, the frog will never move. He will die. He will boil to death in that water. This is the truth. Transfer this to the human mind, and that's known as complacency. It can take place in any life. That's why when I talk to senior citizens my age, I said, don't ever retire. Just say one day, I no longer do what I used to do, but this is what I'm doing now. Always have a reason for getting out of bed, some reason for being. Now, this word success is tied in with another one. In 1964, this is the first time I heard this word, and this is when I thought, what in the world is that? I grew up, I told you, in Chickasha. Surely they taught this in Oklahoma schools, but I don't remember. Motivation, the one definition that really means something to us is a desire held in expectation with the belief that it will be realized, which means the person who says I can and the one who says I cannot are both right. 100% of the time, it's what we tell ourselves that counts. Motivation. Look at this. M-O-T-I-V-E, motive. This computer of ours, our brain, has to have a reason for it to do anything. I flat tell people, you won't even get out of bed without a reason. You'll flat lay there and say, man, I ought to get up. But until you put your foot on the floor, it's only a thought. So motivation is putting into being that which you want to do and believe you can do. So important. Though a simple thing as that. I want to tell you something. If you understand what I'm going to say now, your life will never be the same. When you see an old bum standing on the street corner sucking on a wine bottle or picking up cigarette butts, he's exactly where he really wants to be, whether he'll admit it or not. I didn't say go kick him and hit him. I said he's there where he really wants to be. Now, what has happened to this fella that's doing this? Let me show you. A farmer can stick his thumbs down in the ground. I'm just going to put 2 little nubs here, like these are my thumb marks. A farmer can plant anything he wants to in the land. The land has nothing to do with the decision of what's planted. It will return what's planted, but he has nothing to do, the land has nothing to do, the farmer makes the decision. Let's say the farmer puts a seed of wheat over here. He covers up, fertilizes it, waters it, but over here he puts poison. The land doesn't care whether you're planting poison or something good. It will return anything. The Bible says, as ye sow, so shall ye reap. And in time, up comes a beautiful stalk of wheat, corn, barley, or whatever this is. And over here, deadly poison. Be careful what you plant up here, because it's going to come back to you over and over again. That's like the law of gravity. You jump off a building, you're going to go down. You ain't never going to go up, period. Now, we are all motivated by end results, not by the method of what we're going to do, but what it's going to mean to us. What are the rewards? Let me show you an example. In talking to students in school, I say, look, I've got a pig pen here that's about, say it's 15 feet long, 4 feet wide, and 16 inches deep. And it is filled with nothing but mud and crud. You come by with your finest clothes on. I say, I want you to walk across this pig pen here, and I'll give you a $1 bill as soon as you get on the other side. You say, that's dumb. But if I modified that and I said, not only will you get a $1 bill, but I'll give you a $35,000 Corvette the minute you get on the other side of it. You say, man, I can bathe tomorrow. You'd take off and get across there just like that, because that Corvette would be worth something to work for. That's it. We're all motivated by what it's going to mean to us. Now, do you realize anytime you do something for someone else to do on their own, you're hurting them instead of helping them? Don't turn me off, please. Scientists take a bowl of warm water, not hot, just warm water, and they'll put a little mouse down in here. The little mouse has to swim. He can't walk on the bottom because the water's too deep, and he can't crawl out the top because the lip's too high. And he'll just swim and swim till his little body can't go anymore, and finally he drowns, almost. As he's going under the water, the scientists reach down and pick him up, put him down on the cage, on the side of it, and then they get the little water out of his lungs. When he's completely rested, they'll put him back in that same bowl of water. When I tell students this in school, they usually say, no, no, because they feel sorry for this little fella. But I ask them then, tell me something, young people, he's already died once. How long is he going to swim this time? Half as long, or twice as long? And you'd be amazed how many will scream out, twice as long. I said, no, he'll swim slightly more than half as long. Because he said, as soon as I quit swimming, these jerks will get me out of the water. Now, wait, that's not funny. You're laughing at the wrong time. But think, we'll get to something funny in a minute. Hang on now, wait. But we've got to teach that old bum. He's been planning up here, despair and failure all his life, all his life. This is the age of computers. We have a computer today that does 70 billion calculations in less than a second. Think of this, 70 billion. While this computer's going spitting out these computations, all you have to do is walk over the electrical outlet, pull the plug, and the computer stops instantly without an electrical backup. My friend, let me tell you something. There's another computer that makes that one look like just child's play. The computer I'm talking about weighs about 3 pounds. It's the size of an overgrown grapefruit, looks like a walnut on the outside. It's 85% water, and it's about the consistency of jelly. If it didn't have a skull to hold it in shape, it would run right down the side of our heads. Yes, I'm talking about the human brain. It is the most highly organized yet complicated entity in the world. It will bring anything back to you that you want to plant up here. Be careful what you do, how you plant. Okay, let's talk about managers, some executives right now. Maybe there's a manager out in our audience here. How many of you managers are such executives that you run your place on the field of motivation called fear? Let me show you this. 2 kinds of motivation. One is fear. I've seen managers call a staff in and say, come in, staff, sit down. I don't like the way my department is being run. I'm going to give you 30 days to shape up. If you don't shape up in 30 days, you're all fired. Meeting's over. They turn around, walk out the room, and the rest of the staff sits there, looks at each other and goes, he's not going to fire us. He's been saying that for months. That's dumb. So then, excuse me, I dropped the pencil here. And then the manager gets to thinking, wait a minute, there's something wrong here. He comes back in, he thinks, I'm going to run my place according to the incentive basis. He calls the staff back in, says, come back in, staff, we're going to have another meeting. I'm not going to run my department on fear anymore. I'm going to run it on the incentive basis. The one who does the job the best this month gets to keep it. Can you believe that some do that? That's right. Now listen, I'm serious. But now there's one, Bill's manager out there. You don't run yours, that do. Thank you very much. All right. Now, There is one motivation that's only lasting. It's the only one that counts. This one, fear is gone, incentive. There's only one. And here it is, the most important word in your life. Believe me, A-T-T-I-T-U-D-E, attitude. That's the only thing you own, lock, stock, and barrel. Don't let anyone ever step on your attitude. That's yours. I will hear not those who weep and complain, for their disease is contagious. Let them join the sheep. The slaughterhouse of failure is not my destiny. My friend, you have two things going for you on this earth, one of which you have no control whatsoever. That's time. One of the dumbest statements we all make is, do it this way and save time. You can't save 1/1000th of a second. You only have 24 hours a day to spend. Spend your time wisely. That's 10 seconds. They're gone forever. I can do 10 more, but not those. That's why I said at the beginning of this tape, I said, thank you for giving me the time to let me visit with you. It's the only thing you own that you cannot control, but you can spend it. Only spend it wisely. Now, I said a while ago there were two fears in this computer. When we were born, I've got a 650 quadra. Let me just say this real quick. I have a 650 quadra at home, and every once in a while, I'll be putting something in this program, and it'll say there's not enough memory left. You've got to turn off a program, an application, to get more memory. Let me tell you something. The computer that you own is the only one in the world that will hold all of the information in all the libraries, wherever they are, and never say disk full. It always will say, give me something else, give me some more information. Okay, it was blank. It was just like initialing a new disk when you came on this earth. Two fears we were born with. I wonder how many in this audience right now know what the fears we were born with. Just if you got an idea, what kind of fear? Falling. Don't sit there like a knot on a log. No, don't say it. Don't say what you're saying. Oh, did anybody hear what he said? Don't say it. Oh, golly. Okay, fine, we're safe. All right. No, wait, give me one fear, just something. What? Fear of death. Very good. I heard one say death. All right, let me show you. Here it is. Here's a little baby that is just 1 minute old. He said, the fear of death. Watch this little baby. He's laying right here on this little stool here. And I say, hon, you really look nice. And I pull up here a 357 Magnum pistol. I go, uncock it, and I looked down and said, I'm going to blow your head right flat off, son. This little baby would sit there and go, goo, goo, goo. Couldn't care less. Doesn't mean a thing. I'm glad you answered, but you're wrong. All right, give me another idea. What's another one? Give me another fear that you think we had. Don't say it again. Wait.
Abandonment.
Abandonment. All right, abandonment. Fear of being alone. All right, here we are. Here's the little baby. Little baby's still 1 minute old right here, and I say, huh? I said, boy, you really look nice. Now, you may be hungry. I tell you what, we're going to town. We'll be gone about 4 hours. If you get hungry, you can get out of that bassinet and go have something to eat. We leave, and the little baby gets to go, goo, goo, goo. Couldn't care less. I'm glad you answered, but you're wrong. Now, say again what you said a while ago, and I stopped you from saying it.
Falling.
Falling, that's right. Take a little baby. Watch this. One of the two fears we're born with. Pick a little baby up that's 1 minute old and go, wee! And the little baby goes, his eyes will bug out a foot. You will never lose the fear of falling. I'm a pilot. The only claim to fame is I'm an instrument-rated pilot. And I love to fly, but you get me on a building and next to something, I say, wait, don't get too close, I might fall. You'll never lose the fear of falling. This was put up here for our protection. Okay, that's one. Give me the other one. Anybody else know what the other one is?
Loud noises?
Loud noises. That's exactly right. Listen, here's a little baby, 1 minute old. Watch this. Says, oh, I love you. You're the sweetest little thing in the world. Oh, you're so cute. The lady goes, ah, ah. Starts screaming right now. Fear of unexpected or loud noises and fear of falling. Other than that, someone had to put a fear up here. Don't love too deep, you might hurt. Don't go where you're not wanted. Jimmy, don't step in that. Well, it depends on where you grew up. If it's Oklahoma, Texas, you'd understand. Listen, let me tell you something. Do you know how scientists train fleas? They take fleas off a dog, just a bunch of fleas. Put them down on something slick, make a clear bowl over the head, and these little fleas sitting there. Now, get this, these are little tiny dog fleas. A clear bowl over the head. They don't know there's a bowl over the head, and they have strong legs. They bound, and they hit their heads on this bowl. Imagine a little flea. After a while, even this little flea looks up and says, this is dumb. If I don't jump quite as high as I am, I won't hit my head. And at this point, the scientists see they start taking little quarter-of-an-inch bounces off the table. It's not a joke, it's real. Scientists take the bowl off, and they'll never jump more than a quarter of an inch. And you're saying, who cares? Well, wait a minute. I'm giving this for a reason. Many of us think doctors are overpaid. Don't answer that. But they're not. Bless their hearts. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they give their lives to save us. To keep us alive. Think about a doctor. 24 hours a day on call. All they hear, oh, doctor, help me. Oh, please help me. Who ever heard of anyone going into a doctor's office and saying, doctor, man, I feel good. I made this appointment with you today just to tell you how good I feel. How much do I owe you? No way. No. Listen, I wouldn't trade places with a doctor if he or she made $10,000 a minute. I mean that. Well, I may work a couple of days, but then I'd quit. No, really. Do you know what? You'll find aquariums in doctors' offices more than any other office building. Why? Because people are sitting there. They don't know what the doctor's going to find, and they can watch these fish swim in these aquariums, and it's restful. Scientists have taken aquariums, cleared out all that material in a little aquarium. Get this picture. It's a rectangular water enclosure. They fill it with water, and down the center of this rectangular enclosure aquarium, they put a plate of clear plexiglass. So it divides the aquarium in two halves. Now, on this side, they drop a little Spanish mackerel. He hits the water and swims around, but they come over on this side and drop a barracuda. And this is a little fish that's all teeth and mouth, and his favorite food's the other side of that tank. He looks over and says, golly! He revs up his tail, vop, and runs into that plexiglass. Now, he doesn't know there's a glass there. He bounces off some gut gum. He swims back, and he looks and says, I gotta get that fish. Vop! He keeps hitting his nose in this plexiglass, and a little mackerel in the meantime is over here at the far end of the tank saying, I don't know why he ain't here, but I'm glad he can't make it. And then finally, when the barracuda gets tired of hitting his nose, the scientists take the little plexiglass out, and they'll never pass that barrier again. The two little fish just swim there and look at each other and turn around and swim off. And you say, Jimmy, come on, what are you doing? You're talking about fleas and fish. Here we are, we're adults, we're not conditioned. Oh, you're not? Maybe you are. How many of you play golf? I wonder how many of you play golf out there that would think about going to a par 3 water hole. You got about 90 yards of water between the little postage stamp green and you. Do you reach in your pocket or golf bag and pick out a $2.50 Max Fly, Titleist, XL, Tourney? Or do you think to yourself, maybe I better get out my water ball? Hello there, struck a nerve, didn't it? In other words, you don't want to lose another ball. I was at a place one time. I saw the pro. I said, how much your golf balls here? And he says, 17 cents. I said, man, you can't beat they are. I said, I play golf at Braemar Country Club in Tarzana out in California. They're $5 for a sleeve of 3. He said, not here. And I said, I'll take 2 dozen right now. I bought them. Then I said, we're going to have to spend the night here. How much your rooms? He said, $400. Now, this won't mean anything but you golfers out there. It hurts when you know they got you with the rooms. All right. I see there's some more golfers than I thought here. All right, now listen. Let's do something. I want to show you all something. I told you a while ago in the beginning I was going to give you a reason of why you're the most important person, what you can do about it, and how you can become the person you want to be. Because success is becoming the person you want to be and doing what you want to do. We don't know why it is, but goal setting is the most powerful form of motivation known to man. You've got to have some place to go in order to get there. Think of a ship leaving a harbor. It's got all the captain and everything all set to go, and they start the engine. They'll go over uncharted waters, or technically they are charted, but you know what I mean. They just over it. Don't see land for days, and you can bank on it getting there. But let's take that same ship and let the captain and crew leave. You can tell right now the ship can't even get out of the harbor. If it does, it's going to still run into something because it has no inner guidance system. No destination. You must have a destination. Write that down. Burn it into your mind. Planting a goal in your mind is the most important decision you'll ever make on this earth outside of your commitment to God, your religious commitment. But that's second here, goal setting. Put a plan down with a deadline for its attainment. Why do we say put a plan down? Because you got a roadmap, know where you're going. Follow this all the time. You go down to a grocery store and you check off a little grocery list, but how many of us ever write anything down about our own life? Put it down. Put a plan down with a deadline for its attainment. Why do I say deadline? Because you put yourself on the hook here and you say, man, I don't have much more time to get this done. You know, the most important game plans and plays take place in a football game in the last 2 minutes, because the quarterback throws the ball on the ground, he throws it out of bounds, or he's saying time, time. You say, wait, Jimmy, you just blew the whole deal. That's what do you mean? You told us a while ago you couldn't save time. Yes, I did. That's right. That's why the announcer says, well, we've had the 2-minute warning. The last 2 minutes will be played in the next 20 minutes, because Father Time is still ticking. I was talking about a block of time within a given segment of a football game. And this is your block of time within this segment of what you want to do. Put it down. Develop the desire to get it done. It's no longer lip service. This is for real. This is something you want. They went to a third-generation 17-year-old welfare recipient. He never worked a day in his life or had seen his father or grandfather work. And he said, son, is there anything you want? He said, no. They kept talking to him, and he realized they weren't there to fuss at him. He said, I saw a car once I'd like. They said, you did? Tell us about it. He described it perfectly. They said, come on, son, you're going with us. So where are we going? So you're going to drive that car. I'm what? They took him down the showroom. He said, that's the car. They said, we know, son. Get behind the wheel. While he's driving, they take pictures of him off the side. He's not aware of this. He graduates. They give him 12 pictures and said, son, take these home and put them on your walls around your house and look at them. That was the only instruction they gave this young man, 17 years old. Every day he'd walk around the room seeing himself. He said, that's me. I'm in that car. I've got a license. I can drive. And he got a job. It was the first time he was ever motivated to do anything. That's pathetic. But think about what I just said a while ago about motivated by end results. What is it you want? Get a picture with yourself by whatever it is you want. Watch what this will do for you, or to you. That is, it will stimulate motivation like you never dreamed before. Develop the desire. You can't do any motivation without it. And next, confidence. Oh, my friends, this is so important. Get that education. Confidence comes from only one thing, and that's knowledge. You must know precisely what you want to do and how you're going to get it done and why, and know everything about your job. In selling, for instance, you've got to know today more about your competitors' business than they know, plus your own, so you know why yours is much better than theirs or whatever it is. Just threw that out at you, but think about it. This confidence comes with knowledge. And last, determination. I will not be denied. When you want something, go after it. This is where we say in motivation, anything you vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe, and enthusiastically act upon must inevitably come to pass. Now, that's not a lot of words. You say, well, it is too. No, it's not. It's so important. It is for real. Disraeli said, everything comes if a man with only wait. I brought myself by long meditation to the conviction that a human being with a settled purpose must accomplish it, and that nothing can resist a will that will stake even existence for its fulfillment. What Disraeli was saying with all those words was this: I'll do it if it kills me. Be determined. Have that much going for you. One more thing, Charles Kettering was a great man. He told a friend of his once, he said, Joe, what you tell yourself is the most important thing in the world. Oh, I've heard this all my life. I'm sick of this. It don't mean a thing. He said, wait, Joe. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the importance of what you tell yourself and how this mind of yours will bring you whatever you want. He said, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to buy a bird cage, and I'm going to put it in the foyer of your home, and you'll put a bird in it. Joe said, you're going to what? He said, I'm going to buy a bird cage and I'm going to hang it in your home, Joe, and you'll put a bird in it. Joe said, I'll never put a bird in it. He said, I'll draw up a contract. And he said, get it. So Kettering bought a beautiful bird cage made in Switzerland, hung it in the foyer of Joe's home, and had him sign a contract. You put a bird in it. If you don't, I'll pay you this much money. If you do, you pay me this much money. But you can't take the cage down. It's got to hang there. If we had time, I'd ask the audience right here what happened here, but let me just tell you all what happened. I want you to think like children. Everyone who came in his home said, hey, Joe, where's your bird? He said, I don't have a bird. You got a bird cage without a bird in it? That's right. Boy, you're dumb. Little child says, Mr. the cat eat your bird? I don't have a cat, son. Where's your bird? I don't have a bird either. But you got a bird cage without a bird in it? That's right, boy, you're dumb. Pretty soon, Kettering came back to see Joe, and there was a beautiful bird in his cage. And Kettering said, "Oh, Joe, I see you got a bird." He said, "That's right." He pulled out his money and paid him. He said, "Why did you get the bird, Joe?" He said, "I got tired of telling everybody why I didn't have one." That is the true story. Let me tell you something, friend. You plant a verbal bird cage up here in your mind when you have these things to work on, and you will not rest until they are filled. That's the truth. I never dreamed when I told the doctors the story of my life in 1950 that one day I would write a book titled "Go Get 'Em Tiger, Becoming the Person You Want to Be." Never dreamed this. But so many corporation executives said, "Why don't you tell people on paper what you tell them in person, Jimmy?" I said, "Hey, I just barely got out of high school." They said, "Don't write, just write it down." And I did. Last year I was so thankful. I was baccalaureate speaker at 3 high schools, and they gave my book to every graduate as an inspiration for success. In 1976, little Webster and I were at Canada at the Banff Springs Hotel, where we spoke to the Western Dental Society. They gave an award to a lady who had been a dental assistant 27 years in one office. I never saw a face more radiant than this lady. I walked over to her and I said, "Hon, would you tell me about your life?" She said, "Oh, Jimmy, I'm so fortunate. I happen to be so happy because I love my work. I have a great family. We have a wonderful social life, and our lives are wrapped around our church." I suddenly saw that wheel: mental, physical, spiritual, social, family, and financial. And I realized when you reach the point in your life where productive work is a reward in and of itself, you'll never have another motivational problem. Just rework this formula over and over again. The thing that's so important is always set higher goals. Once you attain where you are, don't stop. Don't become that bullfrog. Will Rogers, great man in history. I saw him when I was a little boy before he died with Wiley Post in that airplane. Oh, this is going way back. Someone asked him, "Mr. Rogers, what do you think if everyone in America knew they were going to die in 10 minutes? What do you think would happen?" He said, "Well, I'm not real sure. But one thing I do know, every telephone booth in America would be calling people to say to someone, 'I love you.'" He said, "Why do we try to hide the most divine feeling God gave us? That is to tell someone you love them. The Bible says love your enemies." Just for practice, why don't you try it on your friends for a while? It works. Say it over and over. But I want to leave you with this thought. I want you to get up in the morning and go to the mirror and like what you see, because if you don't, no one will. The Bible says, "Love thy neighbor as thyself," not instead of, or more than, or less than, but as thyself. Work that formula. Go after what it is you want. I have a business card. The top of it is, well, I'm going in for a fitting. The top, you think I did it on purpose, appreciate your confidence. The top of it is Mark 9:23. "If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth." I believe you can do anything you want to. Just don't stop. Thank you. I love you. Go get 'em, Tiger.